while, back at the Woodpile, Rinky Dink's YouTube channel had its first video request. Guy requested we do a video with a firewood processor machine, or whatever you call a hunk of junk. So here we are, we're going to do that video today. We're going to start on it, whatever. But give you a brief check out of the machine. It's just an old hunky junky firewood machine that actually was built at a factory, or built by somebody that at least made a sticker for it. Built by the Wood-Eze company, Three Rivers, Michigan. I found them on the internet, I think, and I think it's insurance office now. But anyway, it's pretty simple. Just got your old style PTO pump. I have upgraded that to a newer pump since the old one had aluminum housing and then was wore out. So I bought that new, upgraded that, and then the power comes up to this little diverter valve, and a little bit of oil goes to the saw bar, and then the rest of the oil goes down to this solenoid pilot operated control valve. It's solenoid pilot pressure moves a big spool in the control valve. Hope that never goes bad. I've never seen any parts for that. It's racine or something hydraulics. And then the controls are all back here. Pretty simple. This is the main, this is lights. This is the winch to winch in. And then this is the handle that basically runs the rest of it. Up and down is the saw bar, up and down. You got splitter, extend and retract. And then you got saw clamp, which is, or log clamp, that's there. That clamps the log and feeds the log in. So you clamp the log, and that's hooked to the splitter, and the splitter advances the log and splits the piece of wood you just cut. And then this lever handles the other wheel. It flops down so you can winch the stuff in. We'll do that now. Well, you got to take the safety lock out first, so we'll get back to that. And then when I got it, the wiring was all messed up. I screwed around for 3 days and discovered I had a bad ground. What a dumbass. But anyhow, since then I got a little bit smarter, a little bit more clever, and I fixed up the electric. And basically the power comes in, and then it goes to this limit switch. And this limit switch is activated by the saw bar. When the saw bar is down, you can't split and you can't run the clamp. Basically all you can do is run the saw motor. So that saves you bending bar, which is pretty clever. And when it comes up, you can't do everything else but run the saw. And then we rewired the box. We got splitter, lights, and cool little indicator light. Make sure we got power back here. And then we rewired it, and we got a circuit breaker in there, and then we got relay controls for our little micro switches. Hopefully they hold up better with the relays in there, and terminal strip in there to kind of make it easier to figure out where you got power and where you don't, because occasionally you have to work on this hunk of junk. Nice NEMA or a Hoffman enclosure. And then I don't know what else to say. This is the winch. This is the free spool position. You can winch her out. We'll show that later. And then this is a ramp. Once it's tilted, the ramp goes down, and the ramp lets the wood up. Pretty simple operation. Just keeping it running sometimes a trouble. And then we got this other junction box here, because we got a big heavy wire comes up from the front to the back, and then we got a little harness that comes up to our valve. And this little box here, I had this friggin' saved from work. It had all kind of switches in it. It was a pretty nice setup. And my dirty little buddy Jeremy, he friggin' absconded with it. I finally did get my box back, and of course it was missing the switches and all the guts. Even was missing the subplate. I had to make a new subplate. You friggin' cockroach, you. But anyhow, he ain't a bad guy. He's just a little messed up. So that's pretty close to it. Oh, we added a filter. Hydraulic tank is right there. under the pointer. Fixed up a couple little where the hoses rubbed, made some new deals there. But all in all, I ain't spent a lot of money on it. I had my good friend, I mean he's a good friend, Dave Webster. I was real bad trouble here. My sprocket had spun off. That was just, everything here was, this whole thing was junk. And I took it to my good buddy. He fixed her up in ways that you can just never believe. He's got a cut off drill bit in there as a key, and man, I've been honking on this thing and I can't break it. I got the materials and tools to make a new one, but his hasn't failed, so we're going to keep going until it breaks. And then we're going to tell him what a shit job he did. Anyhow, now we got the mighty conveyor. This is, came with the machine when I got it. It was a hell of a lot longer. And it's broke down enough that it's just only 16 feet usable stuff. It breaks down, we had to shorten it up. And then we got this fancy drive system here from an old Toro snowblower. Just tightens the belt, makes it drive. Occasionally you got to kick her out of gear because there's shit gets caught in there. I would not recommend anybody using a hay and grain elevator as a wood elevator. It don't work. Wood gets caught around, brings it down. That's why we've got all these holes cut in here. Hopefully the shit falls out. It don't. Usually gets caught up down here where it returns around and goes back. But hey, it is what it is. Don't cost much. This is the most expensive part here. It's this nice seat here. So just Budweiser on it, so it's not all bad. But I had an apartment, got stuck with a bunch of rent, 900 bucks. But I got this chair. So it's a $900 chair. Shouldn't be treating it like that. But we'll get her fired up here. Get some wood running through it. Maybe. Get a truck underneath our conveyor. Maybe. And see what, we can make some sawdust and chunks of wood. Stand by, we'll be busting wood shortly.